So, Billboard recently made one of the biggest changes to the Hot 100 in years. In revealing its October 25, 2025 chart, Billboard announced that effective immediately, it's implemented a new set of rules that finally push long-running hits off the chart sooner. The first two rule changes are new. Songs are removed that fall below number 5 after 78 weeks, or 18 months on the chart. Likewise for songs dropping below number 10 after 52 weeks. There was already a rule in place for songs dropping past number 25. They're now deleted after 26 weeks, previously 52. And it's bye-bye for songs falling below number 50 after 20 weeks, which is unchanged from before. But in the immediate aftermath, long lingering tracks, Lose Control, Beautiful Things, and Die With A Smile all departed the Hot 100. 19-week chart topper A Bar Song Tipsy dropped off under the old rules a fortnight earlier after 77 weeks. So much fresher already. Exceptions can be made on a case-by-case basis in which songs are gaining in points, which explains why Billie Eilish's Wildflower hung on for an additional week at number 50 in its 70th week. Nonetheless, seasonal tracks are still able to chart in the top 50, meaning All I Want for Christmas Is You has a shot very soon at the all-time record for most weeks at number 1. So what's the goal of these changes, you might ask? It's to get the chart moving again, especially in the upper reaches. As I said previously, the recurrent rules only refer to positions 25 and 50, so this is a long-awaited fix. But does it go far enough? Because while Billboard has tackled one problem, songs sticking around long after their cultural moment has passed, another one remains. Superstar album bombs that flood the chart the moment a new record drops. So in this video, we're going to unpack what Billboard changed, what it actually fixes, and what it doesn't. I'm Roger, your Pop Charts nerd. Let's get into it. To understand why this change matters, we need to rewind nearly 70 years. When Billboard launched the Hot 100 in 1958, it combined two separate charts, best sellers in stores and most played by jockeys. That's disc jockeys or DJs, not people riding horses in a race, of course. It wasn't just a ranking, it was a national snapshot of what America was really listening to. Sales plus airplay equals popularity. Through the decades, the formula evolved. In 1991, SoundScan brought barcode-verified sales data. In 1998, airplay weighting became more precise. In 2005, digital downloads reshaped the singles market. And in 2012, streaming entered the mix and eventually became the dominant metric. Each change made sense for its time, but each also arguably nudged the chart further from its original balance. Back in the 90s, I'd spend weekends glued to iconic radio program American Top 40 with Shadoe Stevens. Blank cassette loaded in my stereo, finger hovering over the record button. In one countdown, you could hear rock, metal, pop, rap, country, dance, R&B, alternative, even Christian pop. Shout out to Amy Grant. All back to back. Songs climbed, peaked, and fell in a matter of months. Variety and turnover weren't byproducts, they were the point. That sense of shared discovery, of hearing something new each week, was what made chart watching addictive, for me at least. Fast forward to the 2010s and streaming changed everything. When Billboard folded Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube plays into the Hot 100, it made perfect sense. Measure what people actually play. But streaming is on demand. A fan can listen to the same song 50 times in a week. Multiply that by millions, and entire newly released albums, no longer carefully curated singles, can dominate the singles chart overnight. That's how we entered an era of immortal hits and album bombs, a chart that reflects fan behaviour more than national consensus. Take Teddy Swims' Lose Control, which has just completed a record-breaking stint of 112 weeks on the Hot 100. That's more than 2 full years. If it weren't for these recent changes that forced its removal, because indeed under the old rules it still would have been in the top 20, who knows how long it would have stuck around for. Or Blinding Lights and Beautiful Things, wonderful songs that stayed in heavy rotation long after most people had moved on. It's not that listeners don't love them. On the contrary, they never stopped playing them. Streaming algorithms and radio recurrence both reward repetition. The result? A chart that drifts from what's hot to what's habit. On top of fans having their favourite tracks on repeat, radio stations chasing retention play the same popular hits virtually on the hour, in turn boosting airplay figures for chart tabulation. Billboard's new recurrent rules finally tackle this congestion. Songs that fall below those thresholds mentioned earlier will clear out faster, making space for new hits. That's progress, but it's only the surface fix. At the opposite end of the spectrum is the album bomb, when superstars like Taylor Swift, Drake, Morgan Wallen, or Kendrick Lamar drop a new album, fans stream everything at once. In the past 3 years, Taylor did something no one else has yet to do once, and she's done it 3 times. Midnights in 2022 filled all 10 spots on the Hot 100. The Tortured Poets department in 2024 took the top 14. And most recently, The Life of a Showgirl dominated the top 12. Not far off, Drake landed 9 top 10s in 2021 with Certified Lover Boy. Kendrick Lamar scored 7 in 2024 with GNX. Morgan Wallen had 6 in 2025 with I'm the Problem. For a week, the chart becomes a monopoly, thrilling for their fans, but distorting for everyone else. These takeovers make the Hot 100 feel less like a cultural barometer and more like a real-time streaming leaderboard and tracker of fan mobilization. Artists and labels know how to game the system. Instead of rolling out strategically timed, creatively promoted singles, they drop entire albums at once, each track counting towards streams. Not only securing high album chart placements, but now individual Hot 100 positions too. Deluxe editions, sped up versions, acoustics, remixes, all feeding into the same numbers. Many albums are longer than ever because more songs mean more streams, and more streams mean better chart math. And before the Swifties come for me, let me acknowledge that her latest album is considerably shorter than the previous one. Meanwhile, older eras measured impact, not volume. Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814 produced 7 top 5 hits in 3 unique calendar years. Mariah, Madonna, Whitney, and Michael did the same through single strategy. Fewer songs, greater impact. Today, artists rack up hundreds of Hot 100 entries, but their strike rate, how many were real hits, is far lower. Taylor Swift and Drake are the 2 outliers of current stars who've had multiple regular, genuine hits alongside their flooding of the singles chart. But generally speaking, streaming rewards activity more than achievement. So yes, this new rule set is a step forward. By forcing aging hits off the chart sooner, Billboard is making room for new songs to enter. Turnover should increase, more new songs and hopefully more new artists will get their moment, and the Hot 100 will feel fresher. And in the case of artists who enjoy massive success with a breakout single, such as Benson Boone, it'll prevent their subsequent releases from being drowned out by their ever-lingering mega hit. That addresses a symptom songs overstaying their welcome. But the deeper issue remains. The chart's real stagnation isn't about rules, it's about how streaming is weighted. Billboard already gives more weight to active streams, the ones people intentionally choose, over passive ones from algorithmic playlists. But arguably, it's still not enough. A superfan looping the same track 50 times counts far more than a casual listener sampling 5 different artists. The system rewards depth of repetition over breadth of discovery. Until that balance shifts, we'll keep seeing the same names dominate. Maybe the solution isn't to reduce streaming's importance, but to rethink what counts as engagement. A stream from a playlist you created should matter much more than one fed by autoplay. Maybe there should be diminishing returns after a certain number of replays per user. Right now, the chart reflects what we repeat, not what we discover. So, how do we bring back discovery and curiosity? That's the bigger question. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, you didn't have to look for new music. It found you through radio countdowns, MTV, or that friend who made you a mixtape or CD. Now, algorithms feed you what you already like. It's comfortable, but predictable. If we want the Hot 100 to be a true reflection of music culture again, we need to reward curiosity, not just consumption. Maybe that means Billboard finding ways to value unique listens and listeners over repeat streams, or platforms spotlighting discovery alongside familiarity. The Hot 100 should capture the soundtrack of our moment, not just our comfort zone. If you're enjoying this deep dive into how the charts are evolving, please tap like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Do you think Billboard's changes go far enough, or is the system still broken? I read every comment and love hearing how fellow chart nerds see it. For all its flaws, the Hot 100 has always been a mirror of how we listen. And to its credit, Billboard has never been afraid to tinker with the formula. It survived the end of physical sales in the late 90s, when a slew of major radio hits were previously prevented from charting. Likewise, the download boom in the early 2000s, and the streaming revolution in the 2010s. This update won't solve everything, but it's proof that the chart is still evolving alongside us. Maybe it's not perfect yet, but it's moving again, and for chart fans like us, that's a win. It's true, the charts can't please everyone, the fans, the labels, the artists, and the critics, but at the very least, they should both track what's popular and also reflect that thrill of discovery that made us fall in love with pop music in the first place. Until next time, this is Roger, your Pop Charts nerd. I'll see you again very soon.